You're about to listen to the most informative, persuasive, and inspiring show ever. The James A. Hendricks School of Leadership. Hey, are you guys ready to hear the news? Well, I'm going to be bluntly honest with you. In some ways, I'm not ready to report it, but I'm agreeing to do it. The fact of the matter is, in some ways, I hear enough BS and propaganda, and some of it I've been warned by people is scams and stuff. And so, I'm only going to report 2 news stories. Okay. So we're going to report this title of this episode is called "Breaking Through the Noise," and our top story is no agreement yet on hostages as IDF releases Sinwar footage. Rocket in northern Israel kills 1.
IDF footage of a tunnel compound reveals that Hamas leader Sinwar and his family had been hiding in an underground bunker, complete with a kitchen, bathroom, and stockpiles of food and money.
Well, more revelations have come to light about the ongoing brutality inflicted on the hostages by Hamas. And so far, the negotiations in Egypt to free the captives have failed. Chris Mitchell reports.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. is working intensely with Egypt and Qatar on a deal to release the remaining hostages and has met with their families.
The agony that they face, simply not knowing the fate of their loved ones, is beyond our imaginations.
Film producer Sheryl Sandberg released a clip of 17-year-old former hostage Agam Goldstein-Almog, who described how a Hamas terrorist sexually assaulted another hostage at gunpoint. Tuesday, the IDF released video of a tunnel compound showing Hamas leader Yahya.
If this ain't Jimmy Carter-style politics, I don't know what is. Okay? Now, Rob Carson from Newsmax, I think in some ways what he said back in 2021 is kind of prophetic. This is another Jimmy Carter looking like. Now, here's another news story. Let's hope this works. The happiest American why getting married can save civilization. I want you to listen to this.
Well, nothing predicts happiness in life better than a good marriage, not even a hefty bank account or a great career. Yet today, fewer and fewer Americans are getting married. Sociologist Brad Wilcox says it's a dangerous trend that puts our future at risk. Wendy Griffith reports.
As director of the National Marriage Project, UVA sociologist Brad Wilcox wants you to be happy, prosperous, and, oh, by the way, save the planet. Dr. Wilcox believes the best way to do this is through marriage. In his new book, Get Married, Why Americans Must Defy the Elites, Forge Strong Families, and Save Civilization, Wilcox explains that many problems have their roots in the anti-family message and policies coming out of Washington, Hollywood, and the media, which is basically stay single without kids and make lots of money.
I think what's striking about both the online right and the mainstream left is they're often telling us that sort of the path to prosperity and the path to happiness runs away from marriage and family. And yet the facts tell us exactly the opposite. The path to prosperity runs towards marriage, and the path towards happiness runs towards marriage as well.
you argue that strong marriages can actually help save civilization. How so?
Well, we were sitting here in the shadow of Thomas Jefferson's University and his home just over there on the hill Monticello. And he, of course, was the author of the Declaration of Independence and mentioned in that declaration kind of the importance of the pursuit of happiness as kind of one dimension of the American experience, the American civilization. So what we're seeing now today, unfortunately, is that happiness in America is falling.
Wilcox believes the main reason behind that decline is due to fewer Americans tying the knot.
What's happened to marriage in the last really 50 years is that marriages remain pretty strong among upper middle class Americans, Americans who have that college degree, Americans who are more affluent in one way or another. But for Americans who are in that more working class bracket, who don't have that college degree, who have an income between about $20,000 and $50,000, you're really seeing their marital fortunes decline a lot in recent decades.
I'm going to... This story is not noise. I'm going to give my commentary on this, okay? I am for traditional marriage. You may say, but Jimmy, you're single. Yes, I am single. The way I see it, I'm single. Now, that being said, I know why I'm single again. Divorce. Let me tell you something. Divorce is something that can really cost your happiness. And some say, well, Jimmy, why don't you get married? If the opportunity comes, Heavenly Father presents it, I will. I will get married. Okay, we need to pray for the hostages. We need to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. But this piece of news on marriage, I gotta say, I'm happy about that. Because it's something we can do about. I'm a firm believer in the protecting and the preserving of marriage. So that, in many ways, is what it's like. You may say, but Jimmy, don't you ever get unhappy because you're single? Do I like it all the time? No. I'm not going to deny it. I long for companionship. But the fact of the matter is, I'm aware of my limitations. Because of my birth defects, I'm not able to produce children. Okay? I could sit there and be sad. Oh, what was me? And even though I know I'm probably going to be single for the rest of my life, unless the Lord tells me otherwise, the way I see it, I can still argue for traditional marriage values. Because to be honest with you, and I didn't think that this was coming to me in my marriage, it was obvious to me, and I should have seen it early on in my relationship with my ex. She was buying into a lot of the values from Hollywood. And I'm sorry, I don't. We have a degenerate culture, and marriage is one of those ways to fight that culture. Protecting and observing. Okay? So I'm not just out there for the Lone Ranger and individuals. No. I want to bless the lives of families. I'd give anything if I had a second chance in marriage. But unless the Lord wills and He lets me know what to do, I am content to do what He's called me to do. And you should listen. Do what you can. If you're married, to protect your marriage. I want you to hug your spouse, hug your kids tight. Please do that. You don't know what a refresher it is to have that, to hear that. We hear all this gloom and doom, and finally, boom, I hear a piece of good news. And I didn't want to talk about the news today because everything has been so negative, so reactive, and I've been saturated by it. And I just have to be honest with you. My nature of bipolar disorder, I mean, yeah, I can handle some negatives, don't get me wrong. But I don't believe that my motivation in talking about politics and civilization should be to scare people. There's enough people out there doing that crap with their propaganda. And I gotta say to both parties, stop it. Do you know how annoying that is? To honest working American people? And to all those that are low income? I've been seeing these ads for, some kind of so-called stimulus on social media. And I was talking to my adoptive nephew about it. He's like, "Give me most of those. Uncle James, most of those are scams." I know what's going on. I'm not blind to the fact that we got corruption in our government and we got corruption in our political system. But as a political scientist, it's not my job always to keep commenting on the same recycled crap. Nobody wants to hear it. And if you do, you didn't come to the right place to listen to my show. Nobody wants to. Let's talk about what to do to fix the problem. Instead of, I'm scared that Biden's going to go in the Chinese and make a digital currency. You don't know how many times I've heard that. Can I give you guys a piece of advice? Please do not buy into the propaganda deal. I studied, one of my fields of study along with political science was mass communications with emphasis on journalism. I know the difference between truth and propaganda. And that's why I, James Anthony Hendrick Jr., your public affairs consultant, I'm going to say it the way it is. Okay? Now, the good news is I'm not going to report any more news until Monday. And let's hope we get some more proactive news. Because if not, I'm changing the focus of this dang podcast. Okay? Hope you enjoy listening. Please subscribe, become a part of the James A. Hendrick School of Leadership Classroom. Till next time, keep up your faith. Keep up your hope. Please keep up your hope. And know this, Jesus saves, and we're all going to be okay. Please know that. I want you to take care and be proactively informed. God bless you. And remember this, from the bottom of my heart, Jimmy loves you. I really, really love you. God bless you, and have a blessed day.